was on duty at March Police Station when a call came in from a member of the public saying their son was in their back garden. He had a knife and was making threats to harm himself and to harm his mother.
We got down here, but as we sort of pulled into the road, we got an update saying that he'd left the address and he was possibly armed with a knife.
Looked down the road and we've seen a male who's fitting the description. He's basically clocked us and he's run off.
We both jumped out of the van. Pete grabbed the shield, sort of gave chase, tried to sort of head him off. But by the time we got down to where we'd seen him go, he'd disappeared. But there was a gate open on one of the gardens.
Saw the male standing at the bottom of the garden, could clearly see that he had a Stanley knife in his hand, and all I could hear was him chanting sort of satanic sort of rhymes and songs. He's come towards us and basically started attacking us with his Stanley knife in his hand. Janine had picked up a shield and he was basically hammering down on it with the knife, basically I'd say trying to stab her. I've drew my baton and have attempted to hit him with it. First of all, on his arms, trying to get the knife off of him, and it's had no effect on him at all. During that time, he's been biting us, punching us, kicking us.
At one point, garden furniture was thrown at him just to put distance between us. I think Pete had hold of him against the house and I actually tried to pull the knife out of his hands, actually prizing his fingers off it just to get it away, and he just wrenched the knife through my hand. I remember feeling pain, but at that point I didn't sort of register what had happened. I saw him sort of slash at Pete.
Cut me to my neck with the Stanley knife. So yeah, at that point I've pushed my emergency button and hoped that someone was listening and that help would be on its way.
And he kind of broke away from us and he went, there's a fence, had all garden tools on it, and seemed to purposely select what was going to do the most damage. He went for a garden fork and then just started lunging at us with this garden fork. It was horrific, really. And then he seemed to notice there was a summer house, and using the garden fork, he actually smashed his way into this summer house. As he came out armed with a great big long saw.
Basically made a beeline for a property more or less opposite. He travelled through a car park, and I've looked up and I could see some children up in the window. Still remember their face now.
And at that point, it was like fear set in. I just wanted everybody out of that house. I was just screaming, there's people in that house, there's children in that house.
While in the property, he'd taken a hostage in the kitchen, and he was holding him hostage with a saw against his neck. At that point, firearms turned up, 2 firearms officers.
I went running into the back garden just to see the firearms officers putting in challenges at the door.
We basically all went in and were grappling with him on the floor. It was taking sort of 3 officers just to control one arm. He was that strong.
It was just an absolute mess and everyone was just on the floor just trying to get him restrained, and he just seemed to be constantly fighting. I think he was actually on top of one of the officers as well, and I just sort of shouted, get him out of here, there's children in this house. And he just seemed to be throwing people off just like they weren't there.
At that point it was decided that air ambulance be dispatched, and they flew out a specialist doctor who landed in a park nearby, and he sedated him.
It's not one of the nicest situations to be in when someone's got that much strength and nothing slows them down, and it just shows what effects drugs can actually have on the person. I was obviously quite fortunate on the day that Pete happened to be over at March, but had he not been at March, it could have been me being dispatched on my own.